Reddit fresh. Am I the idiot for being honest about not being excited for my mom's wedding when she is marrying my bully's dad? My mom and I have always been super close, which is why I feel like a bit of an idiot. When I was 13, she moved in with her BF Tyler, who had a 14-year-old Riley who hated me and my mom. Riley was catty and constantly taking digs at me and trying to lower my self-esteem. Riley's grandmother and dad spoiled her a lot, so my mom felt that was unfair to me, and Tyler began spending money on me to make things even. This upset Riley for some reason, which I really don't understand. She had everything she wanted financially, so the bullying got worse. Riley ended up humiliating me in front of a boy I liked by telling him that I wrote erotic fan fiction about the two of us, which was a lie. Tyler refused to discipline her beyond talking to her, so my mom had to make the hard choice to leave him for my mental health. She dated a couple other guys but never got over Tyler. Pretty much the moment I turned 18, she got back with him. I'm 20 now, and they are getting married. I'm not going to lie and say I am happy about it, but up until this point I kept everything to myself. It just really hurts to feel that she prioritizes this relationship over me and expects me to even be in the same room as Riley. Also, Tyler continues to make excuses about Riley only acting out due to trauma, so I really don't get how my mom can want to be with him, but obviously it isn't my business. The issue is, my mom wants me to have a large role in the wedding planning. She recently went dress shopping and seemed disappointed that I wasn't more excited. She also talks about the wedding constantly. Finally, she asked me if I had an issue, because she thought this would be much more of a bonding experience. I was honest and said she can do whatever she wants, but I'm not happy for her or excited. I feel she is being selfish and kind of a bad mom, and it hurts me that she can even love a dude like that. My mom burst into tears, and all of her friends looked at me like I was the idiot. Tyler is now being very cold to me, and Riley had to jump in and say I'm immature and she doesn't like my mom or I. But now that we are adults, I'm crazy to expect my mom to prioritize me at all. Not the idiot. How could your mom expect anything else? We don't just magically get over years and years of abuse just because we turn 18. I'm 51, and some of the torment I got in high school still bothers me. Mom is completely self-centered, running back to a man that constantly enabled your abuser. Not the idiot. Your mom is choosing to make a family with a child and a stepdaughter who hate each other, one being a bully and the other her victim. Tyler is the biggest AH in this for letting Riley bully you without consequences. You are well within your right to decline any family function that includes Riley. Now, for the next story. Am I the idiot for refusing to wear protection at a family get-together? My female 18 family gets together every summer in my grandparents' cottage. It's a really big house and can accommodate most of the family. This summer has been the first time doing the get-together since COVID, and everyone has made a huge effort to come as it's a very important tradition. It's my parents' generation, with some as young as their early 30s, and then their kids, 1, 8, and finally me and my younger cousin, female 15 in the middle, who I don't get along with as she's a bit of a brat mean towards me. I usually don't mind playing babysitter, but this time I was asked too much, and I'm afraid refusing it might create permanent damage to my relationship with my family. Most of children are at that age where they are potty training or still wetting the bed. This runs in my family quite a lot, and some of the older kids were refusing to put on their nighttime underwear because they were embarrassed to do it with their cousins there. Not all of them wet the bed. So my grandmother decided that to avoid any embarrassment for the children, they would all wear protection for a few days, and then would be able to stop wearing it if they did not wet the bed. This was all well until my cousin, 15, who sleeps with the kids, she's still considered one, was asked to wear the protection too to set a good example for the children. I did not see anything especially wrong with this. My family has a very strong division between adults and children, and being 18 years old, I was excited to be a part of the adults club, and thought that obviously any rules applied to all the children would apply to my cousin. She, however, did not like having to wear protection for bedwetting and thought she was too old for that. My grandmother reminded her that I had wet my bed until I was 16, so she was not too old. She argued that if she, who had not wet the bed in over 10 years, Had to wear the protective underwear, then so should I because I only stopped bedwetting a couple of years ago, last time I was there, and it would make her feel better. So now my grandmother is insisting I wear the pull-ups for a few days with the children, but I refused, because I think it's going to crush my chances at having an adult summer free of all the children's rules, and having been a bedwetter, it's really humiliating to go back to pull-ups. She said that a mature adult would do the right thing and wear them, and that I might need them anyway. She at least kept this between me and my cousin for the moment. After a long time, she said that I either followed the rules to her house or left, and that she would be letting everyone know why I had left too. I feel like letting win will only encourage my cousin's behavior and tell my grandmother I am still a child. But if I leave this important event, I might create a strain with my family. So, am I the idiot for refusing and making things difficult for everyone? Edit. Comments have made me see it's very wrong to do it to my cousin too, plus I should side with her united. Everyone sucks here. There is no reason to make teenagers wear diapers. WTF is going on in your family? I think when you go out and spend time in the real world, you are going to start noticing a lot of your memories with your family are not normal at all. Everyone sucks here. You landed yourself in it there, though. Bedwetting isn't anything to be ashamed of, but you clearly thought it was funny that the cousin you hate would have to wear diapers. Either way, it was pretty foolish to think that a 15-year-old who's been dry since 5 would have to wear them, but an 18-year-old who's been dry 2 years wouldn't. I can see why they still lump you in with the kids. Now for the next story. Am I the idiot for pretending a movie trilogy is a TV series to my girlfriend who hates movies? So my girlfriend hates movies for some reason but really loves to binge TV shows like crazy. She's a big fan of sci-fi, and even time travel like Doctor Who, for example, big fan. However, apparently she never heard of Back to the Future. I've tried to watch Looper with her, but she immediately dismissed it because it's a movie. So since I'm a big fan of Back to the Future, I told her it's a TV series when it came out. I've got the trilogy digitally and spent all night trimming it down to like 40-minute snippets with reasonable points to cut at. Like just after the first trip back. I overlay to be continued and added the credits at the end. She's used to Netflix skipping the intro to shows, so I didn't have to bother with that. The credits were cut short as well. We binged the entire thing in a day and she absolutely loved it, although she complained about some of the episode ends because they felt off. Yeah, I wonder why. Anyways, I told her afterward why it felt off. Because it's actually 3 movies and not a TV show. But I'm glad she liked it regardless. She wasn't having it. After calling me a liar and idiot for betraying her like that, she stormed off to go home instead of staying the night as was planned. I mean, yeah, I kind of did lie to her, sure, but personally I really don't see it that bad. So, am I the idiot? Edit. We talked over lunch break and everything's fine. I apologized to her again for tricking her and that I didn't mean to upset her. I just wanted to share this movie I love with her. As some comments said, she felt belittled and like I made fun of her. She apologized for overreacting, as she realized it came from a place of care and good intentions, even if they were selfish. She wants more communication in the future, though. She didn't lose trust in me, and she doesn't think I'm having malicious intent with her either. We're gonna watch Looper tonight. You're the idiot for the overt deception. You treated her like a child so that you could get what you wanted and are angry that she feels disrespected. It's because it was disrespectful. If you had told her all the work you were going into because you wanted to show her and share this thing with you, that would be a different story. But what actually happened is you went way far out of your way to deceive your partner and are acting like she's an idiot for being upset about the behavior, not the idiot. I'd be flattered if someone went through the trouble of episodizing a movie they think I'd love because they know what my attention span is like, LOL. That's a lot of work. I guess I could see why she'd feel like you'd lied to her, but I don't really understand her reaction. It would feel more like a good-natured prank to me. Now for the next story. Am I the idiot for not washing my hands at 3 a.m.? Last night, my significant other, female 28, woke me, male 29, up at around 3 a.m. to tell me that I had thrown our dog off the bed while sleeping. I was a bit annoyed that she woke me up, so I went to the kitchen to grab a glass of water and use the restroom. I tried to stay as sleepy as possible to fall back asleep quickly. When I returned to bed, my SO told me to wash my hands, as she had apparently heard me in the restroom, and noticed that I forgot to wash them in my half-asleep state. I told her that I just wanted to go back to sleep and didn't want to argue since I had sprained my ankle a bit earlier in the evening. However, she continued to ask me to wash my hands repeatedly. After some back and forth, I decided to sleep in the guest room instead of our bed. I am aware that I should wash my hands after using the restroom, but I was annoyed that my SO wouldn't drop the issue, and I couldn't fall back asleep until about 5:30 a.m. The next morning, I woke up in a bad mood, and my SO asked me jokingly why I had slept in the guest room. I told her that I had slept there because she woke me up for the dog and wouldn't drop the hand-washing issue. I expected an apology from her since I thought waking me up for the dog was inappropriate. However, she told me that it was my fault for not washing my hands and that I should have tried harder to fall back asleep. She said I was being dramatic and needed to get over it. I got frustrated because I had asked her to drop the issue several times during the night, but she had ignored me. I got angry and told her that I should have washed my hands, but that waking me up for the dog's comfort was ridiculous, and that she should have dropped it when I asked her to. I then told her not to talk to me until she had something else to say besides, "You are overreacting." She left for work, and I am now typing this in my home office, feeling upset. We are at a standstill where I feel like I need an apology, and she feels like I am being dramatic. I tend to get angry quickly when I am sleep-deprived, so I know that I may be in the wrong here. I need some outside perspective, so Reddit, am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Before even getting to the hand-washing part. She woke you up to tell you that you disturbed the dog in your sleep? GTFO. Waking me up to tell me foolishness like that is a deal-breaker. Arguing with you in the middle of the night about anything less than life-threatening, and no, a little pee-pee hand is not life-threatening, is the icing on a poop cake. Everyone sucks here. Being woken up because you nudged the doggo off the bed while asleep is weird. It was not an intentional act, and it doesn't sound as though any harm was done. Refusing to wash your hands was gross. You expected an apology. It's not controlling when y'all share common areas, and your bathroom hands would be on them. Now, for the next story. Am I the idiot for lying to my wife about the length of my work trip to avoid a vacation with the in-laws? My male 34, wife, female 31, and her family, my in-laws, had a 5-day-long family vacation in July. It was at an Airbnb that everyone, wife, her siblings and their spouses, and her parents, stayed in. I happened to have a work trip the same week as the vacation, but it was only 2 days long, so I technically could have gone to the last few days of the vacation. Here's the thing about my wife's family. They're very rowdy. They yell to communicate, get drunk together often, have no respect for each other's privacy, and ask very invasive questions. For example, on our wedding day, my father-in-law asked me if I had been practicing my moves for the wedding night, and if I needed any advice, I was appalled. I have told my wife before that sometimes her family can be too rowdy for me, but she gets defensive and says I should accept her family for who they are. There have been times when I've asked my wife if I can skip family reunions and birthday parties, but she gets very mad at me and says it would be super rude to avoid her family. So when I found out that my out-of-state work trip was the same week as the family vacation, I decided to fib to my wife a bit. I told my wife that my work trip was 4 days long, and that it wouldn't make sense for me to travel to the Airbnb to stay for only 1 day. My wife agreed to this. So, I went on the work trip and enjoyed a few days of peace and quiet at our house, while my wife enjoyed the vacation with her family. A few weeks go by and I'm having some coworkers over for drinks. My wife came home from work early and started chatting with my coworkers. She told them about the wonderful vacation she had with her family a few weeks ago, and my coworkers asked me why I didn't join. I told them that the vacation was during our work trip. My coworkers said our work trip was only 2 days long. Why didn't I catch the end of the family vacation? The look on my wife's face was murderous. After my coworkers left, my wife started yelling at me, saying I was a major idiot. She called her parents and they sent me angry messages saying they couldn't believe I lied to my wife to avoid a vacation with them. Am I the idiot for lying to my wife about the length of my work trip, even though I know she wouldn't allow me to skip the family vacation? Everyone sucks here. Lying to your wife isn't good, but I can understand if her family makes you uncomfortable and she didn't give a poop. She was an AH for insisting on you going no matter what, And an even bigger AH for calling her parents and letting them know about it instead of handling it with you privately. She's disloyal and doesn't respect you at all. Time to have a very direct discussion and find a compromise you can both live with and/or seek marriage counseling so you can have a referee, not the idiot. I was going to go with IT until she told her mommy and daddy about you, and I read what they're like. You shouldn't have to lie to your spouse, but it almost sounds like you actually had to. She and her family sound like a lot to deal with. Her dad sounds disgusting, and I'm sorry for you. Now for the next story. Am I the idiot for telling my husband to get over his dead mother? I know that the title sounds horrible, but please listen to my side. I, female 32, have been married for 4 years to Andy, male 37, last June, around 11 months ago. Andy's mother passed away in a car accident. It was totally unexpected. He was super close to her, and it hit him hard. He developed really bad depression. I tried my best to stay strong for him and offer comfort whenever he needed it. But it has been so hard being his emotional crutch. Andy stayed at home all day, quit his job, and barely paid attention to me. I had to pay all the bills. Soon I realized that our relationship was dying. Intimacy was long gone, and Andy rarely talked to me. I begged him to go to a therapist and tried all ways to help him. He refused all of them. It broke my heart to see the man I love fall to pieces. Yesterday, Andy and I had an argument. I came home from a really bad day at work and found him surrounded by rubbish on the couch. I tiredly asked him to please clean it up, but he refused. Something just snapped in me and I yelled, "I think it's time you get over your mom." Andy looked at me like I was crazy and said, "How could you say such a thing? My mother is not like some poop ex, it's my mother, and she's dead." I apologized, but told him to look at himself. No job, depressed, throwing away his life and relationship with his wife. He said, "It's already so hard, don't make it harder. I don't need you scolding me at the hardest point of my life." I tried to get my point across, but he abruptly got mad, calling me a fucking bitch, then left. I'll admit, what I said was horrible. It was unfair to him, but I don't know what to do anymore. I feel burnt out, and I desperately need someone too, just like him. I feel so alone every minute of the day. Am I the idiot? Everyone sucks here. You should never have said that, but if his grief is affecting your relationship and is so severe that he had to quit his job, he should be willing to go to therapy. I have to say, I am a little bit hesitant to say he's an ah. He may be too depressed to make the right decisions for him and you. However, likewise, not everyone can handle a partner's mental health issue, so I don't know if you can be expected to respond perfectly. Everyone sucks here. Yes, it was a bad thing to say, but did he completely cease to function for a whole year, leaving you to take care of him, of the finances, of everything in your joint life? While showing no intention of ever seeking help so he may heal and recover? Yeah, you cannot be expected to put up with this forever.